Festool has a lot of options when it comes to track saws. So how do you decide which one you need in your shop? Well, in this video, I'm going to share some of the different features on each one of the models that are available, and hopefully it'll help you make the decision on what will be right for you in your shop. So the first thing is there's some considerations really that you should just be asking yourself right off the bat. And the first is, how thick of material are you normally cutting? Another one would be, what kind of material are you cutting on a regular basis? Another option might be, do you want the ability to have removable power, or do you like the idea of cordless? Now, each one of these different topics can very quickly make the determination for you when looking at a Festool track saw. So let's get into the specifics on each one of the saws. So we'll start down here at the end, and the first one we're going to talk about is the TSC 55 KEB. And what this is the cordless track saw that Festool offers. As you can see here on the back, it has two of their 18-volt batteries, and that is how the saw is powered. Now, as with any other Festool product, the number associated with the model means something. A TSC 55C giving it the cordless designation, but the 55 means it has 55 millimeters of depth of cut on a vertical 90-degree cut. Another feature that it does have on this saw is it does come equipped with the kickback stop technology on this, which is not available on all of the different saws. Now we'll move on to the TS55 FEQ. So this is essentially the same saw, however it is not cordless, and it does actually come equipped with a riving knife. The power is supplied to this saw by, with most Festool products, a removable power source, which can be plugged directly into your dust extractor. Just like with the other saw, TS55, it's going to give you the same cut capacity as the TSC 55. Now moving on to one of the newer models offered by Festool, and that is the TS60 KEB. One thing I want to point out that is very different about this saw versus the previous two that I discussed is that this comes with the new EC-Tech brushless motor. Now, what does that mean for you? More power, more efficiency. As with the TSC 55, the cordless 55 model, this also comes equipped with the kickback stop. And one other large difference that you're going to note is this actually does not have removable power. So this will have a permanent cord, just like some of the other larger tools offered by Festool. Now, since this is a TS60, it is obviously going to give you more cut capacity than the smaller TS55s. And while this is a TS60, it does actually have a max depth of cut of 62 millimeters. Now we have the TSV60, another very new model, and for the most part, as far as the actual saw itself goes, it is almost identical to the TS60. However, this is a very special saw in the sense that it is the first saw that has a scoring blade built into the machine. What does that mean for you? It means that you can get absolutely perfect, splinter-free, tear-out-free cuts every single time with this track saw. Like I said, same features as before, does come equipped with the kickback stop, does come with the EC-Tech brushless motor, and it does have permanent power attached to the track saw. And finally, we get to the largest of all of the different track saws, and that is the TS75. Now this, like all the other track saws, does come equipped with a variable speed motor, and this one does in fact have removable power. This is not equipped with the anti-kickback stop technology, as this is one of the older track saws that Festool offers, but it does give you the deepest cut capacity. The TS75 EQ, TS75 meaning 75 millimeters of cut depth on a 90-degree cut. So which one of these is going to be right for you? Well, let's break it down a little bit. Now that we've learned a little bit about each one of the saws, the first thing that I'll say is if you're somebody that's looking for a cordless option, then the TSC 55 is going to be your option, as it is the cordless offering from Festool. Now, if you're somebody that doesn't really necessarily need the cordless feature, but you do in fact want removable power, well, then the TS55F or the TS75 are going to be your options. That would also include if you are somebody that is interested in a traditional riving knife, then the TS55 or the TS75 are going to be right for you, as the other three models are all equipped with the new kickback stop technology. Now, if you're somebody that's cutting delicate materials a lot, a really good example of that would be melamine. Well, the TSV60 is going to be unmatched in the quality that you can get out of a track saw, or really any saw for that matter. So that is going to be something that is very beneficial for you if that's what you are cutting most frequently. Finally, the last topic, which was the thickness of material that you're cutting on a regular basis. So something that I would say is if you're cutting 1.5 inches material or less, then really these three options, the TSC if you like cordless, the TS55, or the new TS60 is going to be a fantastic option for you because you don't need that really deep capacity. Now, if you are somebody that is cutting thicker materials, say 2-inch or greater hardwoods, or you're putting a lot of bevels on large tables, something like that, well then that's where the capacity of the TS75 is really going to shine. And the reason for that is because that is the one that's going to give you the biggest cut capacity on both 90 and 45-degree cuts. Sometimes there's a train of thought of saying, well, why don't I buy the biggest one and I can just use it for everything if I need it? That's true, you absolutely could do that. But remember, the larger something is, the more it weighs. So what I like to tell people, especially when they're just starting, if you know what you're primarily cutting on a daily basis and you know you're going to be using it a lot, I would go more towards these smaller options that are not only going to give you the capacity that you need for 99% of the cuts that you make, but it's also going to be more enjoyable to use because you're not lugging around the extra added weight for a capacity in which you're almost never using. Which one do I think is the best all around for somebody that's looking to get their one and only track saw and maybe their first track saw? I'm going to have to go with what we have here in the middle. And we have the lowest capacity on the right, we have the most capacity on the left. I think this is a really good middle ground that will be suitable for 98% of people and the materials and projects that they are doing in their home shop. Hopefully you have a better understanding now of the capacity and the features of the different track saws that Festool has to offer, and hopefully it'll make your decision on which one is right for you a little easier.